Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. It is a new day. We thank the good Lord it's a new day. Thank God it is a new day. So good to see you again. Thanks for stopping by again. Well, we are still going on in this topic, the impact of the opposite sex friendships in relationships. But today we're actually going a little deeper because we're going to be looking into how it really impacts the marriage setting. So today we got Greg and Erin. They're both marriage counselors. Focus on the family marriage. They head that department. And I believe they also have a podcast, crazy little thing called Marriage. I believe that's what it's called. So in this particular video, there were a couple of things they addressed, but there was a particular scenario that I want us to look at today. So I'm going to play it, and please put your comments in the comment section below. I will also put my comments as we go. This is interesting. We got to address this. Wouldn't you agree? I say yes, because the only way we could get it better and get it right is to learn from the people that know better. Pour wisdom into us and let us get it. So let's listen to Greg and Erin, and then we'll address and put our comments as we go.
Today, we're jumping into the topic of opposite sex friendships within marriage and what boundaries need to be in place. Is it healthy to have opposite sex friendships? Something that we really need to talk about.
Yeah, and the other day I saw an article that just struck me, and so I showed it to you. And you're like, we got to talk about that. and basically the headline says that a husband has planned a special trip with a long-term friend, female friend, and didn't invite his wife.
A husband plans a trip with a long-term friend, and the wife did not get the memo. She did not get the email. No invite. I guess my first question, or I'm assuming her first question is, where you going? That is wild. Does that really happen in today's world? A husband or wife could plan a trip with the opposite gender, friend, and not tell your spouse or not invite them. That is wild. That is crazy.
And so it caught my attention. So basically what happened was that I think when this guy and his friend, his female friend, they were like teenagers, they kind of made a pact that someday it'd be awesome to go to like this, some sort of Formula One car racing event, whatever. And so fast forward like 15 years when they now have money to do that, he booked this trip with his old family friend, and his wife didn't know. Like, I think the wife knew that this was something that they'd always talked about, but she actually found out that the trip had been booked, and she just assumed, well, that'll be fun. When are we going?
Can't wait.
And he's like, well, actually, I didn't book a ticket for you. You're not coming. And so that created, obviously, some conflict in their marriage.
That's, in my humble opinion, that should be the end of that trip. And there are bigger things to talk about. There's a bigger issue. How can you, as a husband or a wife, plan a trip with somebody else, even if it's a friend of the same gender? Yes, I understand there's another story behind the story of that going on in the world today, but let's just keep it clean. Even if it's a friend of the same gender, it is one of the most disrespectful things to plan something and not let your spouse know. Why would you want to do that? other than having an agenda. Or you may say, oh, there's no big deal. There is a big deal. You shouldn't be planning anything without your spouse knowing about what you're doing. That's the first person that should know. If you're a Christian, obviously you tell God, and you both come together to tell God, right? To pray about it. But your spouse should know about that. That you should not be planning anything happening inside of the home, outside of the home, without your spouse giving an approval. They have to know before you pull the trigger. So there's a whole lot of problems here.
And I respect that he reached out to social media to kind of pose this question to get some feedback. So it sounded like he was teachable and open to, hearing some advice. But man, this created such a firestorm. A lot of passion on both sides of the issue. So we just want to talk through, first, okay, so we get their story, but what are some of the challenges that when we maintain an opposite sex friendship, in our marriage? What are some of the potential dangers?
Well, I would say some of the potential dangers are that you start sharing private, personal things with this other person of the opposite sex that you're not sharing with your spouse. And then maybe things aren't going well over here, and then you start looking forward to the connection over here more and more, and maybe there becomes some secrecy or hiding, or maybe there's a negative influence about the marriage. So it really is assessing. I find as I work with couples that often couples don't have a conversation about what do we want this to look like within our marriage. And so there's risks to having opposite sex friendships. And I know many of you are probably thinking, why? Like, what does it matter? We were friends before we got married. I think it's important that that opposite sex friend becomes a friend of the couple.
Yeah.
And I know the guy in the article even said that this female friend of his was in their wedding, stood up on his side in their wedding and became friends with his wife. So it confuses me. Why didn't he just include his wife in the trip in the first place? But I'm glad he did eventually.
Yeah.
Just real quick, I love what Erin just said there. A lot of time what's happening is in counseling. That's even if they go to counseling. Because a lot of people today, they just go with optics. He looks good. She looks good. She's got everything I'm looking for physically. Optics. And you jump into it. We get married. And even if they have counseling, you're not having the deep conversations about, okay, we like the optics. Now, are we compatible? What does it look like to be married? What are some of the foundational beliefs and things that we want to align together? What does it look like? Boundaries in our home. What does that look like? Who is the third party? Fourth party? Fifth party? And so on. We don't have the right conversations, and it's a recipe for disaster. And I think that's what's happened here. You got to set your boundaries. And you both have to agree on it. I mean, how can you plan a whole vacation without your spouse's knowledge? Especially when it has to do with the opposite gender. That's dangerous in my opinion. I would like to keep this short. I'll be coming back with more of this, but I'd just like to tell a quick story before I just wrap this up. So I heard about this lady, has a friend, she's married, has a friend, another female friend who became friends of the husband. And before you know it, she started making moves because now the wife trusts a friend. She comes to the house anytime she wants, not knowing she's already gone behind her back dating the husband. And then all of a sudden he says, oh, I'm hanging out with my female friend. She didn't think anything of it. Before you know it, That female friend got pregnant for the husband. And not only did she get pregnant, she wanted to eliminate the wife. I'm going to leave that at that because of YouTube's policies. But you know what I'm trying to say. That's how crazy people can get. That's why we got to be very careful who we call friends. We got to really establish what we mean by friends and friendships, especially in the marriage. What is it that we are looking for that our spouse cannot give us? So why don't we look into that before we go to the altar? If we're not feeling like we're getting what we want from this person, maybe we shouldn't pause before we decide to get married, because marriage is a beautiful thing, but it takes a lot of commitment. And a lot of times I like to say, flip the script. This man, this gentleman that's asking the question, is it okay? Why is it not okay for me to go plan a whole vacation with a childhood friend who is a female, opposite gender? It's not okay. Everybody knows it's not okay. And I dare say that's the reason why you're asking the question, because something doesn't sit well. No one really asks a question about something that's okay, that's right. Think about that for a second. Obviously, something is funny about it. It is funny. It is shady. Something is just not sitting well. That's why you're asking the question. And this whole notion about we're just friends, whenever you hear people use that, I start to get my head kind of shifts. Just friends? No. Your spouse should know all your friends. Nothing should be done behind their backs. If you're doing that, stop it. It doesn't end well. Believe you me. Stop it. You will not enjoy your marriage. Since we're talking about marriage today, if you're going to be doing things behind your spouse's back, anything causing tension, cut it off. Well, thank you, Erin and Greg, for that. That's how far I will go today. I know they have a lot more knowledge and wisdom. I will be bringing them back for sure. But that's the only piece I wanted to touch on today. Please put your comments in the comment section below. Let us know what you think about that. Is it okay for a spouse to plan a vacation without their spouse's knowledge with an opposite gender? Question mark. Please put your comments in the comment section below. Let us know what you think. And if you're really strong, flip the script and let us know how it would make you feel if you were on the other side of the fence. Thanks for stopping by. It's me again, WJ on our channel, One Life, Many Seasons. Always a pleasure to see you. Thank you so much for your support. I'll be coming back, but you know how we like to close it out. We never want to close it out without reminding ourselves that we always remember we got one life with many seasons. So let's make the best of it. God bless you. Thank you so much. I'll see you soon. You take it now. Bye for now.